In the corner of a cozy little village, where flowers grew in window boxes and laundry danced on strings, there lived a kitten named Milo. He was small, soft, and striped like warm toast. Everyone who saw him said, "Oh, what a sweet little kitten." But there was one thing they didn't know. Milo couldn't meow. When other kittens in the village played and squeaked and purred, Milo only opened his mouth, and nothing came out. At first, the grown-up cats told him, "You'll meow when you're ready." But days passed. Then weeks. Still, silence. Milo tried very hard. He climbed to the roof and shouted into the wind. He whispered to butterflies. He even practiced meowing in his dreams. But every morning, his little mouth stayed quiet. Some kittens started to laugh. "Maybe Milo is part mouse," one joked. "Maybe he swallowed his voice," said another. Milo didn't cry. He just curled up beneath the bakery window, where the smell of warm bread made him feel a little less small. One day, as he watched the village cats sing for the moon, Milo felt something stir in his chest. It wasn't a meow. It was something different. It felt like a song trying to grow. But Milo didn't know what it meant. Not yet. So he lay under the stars, quietly listening. The night after Milo curled up beneath the bakery, something new reached his ears. It wasn't the usual crickets or the snores of alley cats. It was a soft sound, floating from a window above. A sound like stars dancing. Music. Someone was playing a little wooden instrument, soft, sweet, and full of feeling. Milo looked up. There, in a glowing window on the second floor, sat a girl. She was playing with her eyes closed, swaying gently, as if the notes carried her far away. Milo didn't move. He just listened. The music wrapped around him like a warm scarf. It tickled his chest, right where he once tried to meow. Suddenly, a little sound escaped him. Not a meow, but a hum. A tiny, wobbly hum that surprised even him. Milo jumped, then looked around. No one noticed. Except the girl. She opened her eyes and leaned toward the window. "Hello," she whispered. Milo froze. The girl smiled. "You don't have to be scared," she said. "I always play for the ones who listen." Milo blinked slowly, his heart beating like a gentle drum. And though no words passed between them, something unspoken danced in the air. It was the first night Milo didn't feel so small. The next evening, Milo returned to the same spot. He didn't plan to. His paws just led him there, quiet and slow, like they remembered the music better than he did. But this time, the window was closed. No music. No girl. Just the soft breeze brushing through the village, tugging at the flowers in the windowsill. Milo sat anyway. He looked up, as if hoping the music might return. And in that silence, something surprising happened. He felt the wind move through his whiskers. And he hummed again. This time, it wasn't tiny. It was quiet, yes, but fuller, rounder, like a leaf spinning on air. Milo gasped. Then he hummed again, and again. Each time, it came a little easier. And then, the wind carried it. It picked up his sound like a note from an invisible instrument and floated it down the street. Not loud, but beautiful. A light turned on upstairs. The window creaked open. The girl leaned out and smiled, eyes sparkling. "Was that you?" she asked. Milo looked down, shyly, but he nodded. She rested her arms on the windowsill. "That didn't sound like a meow," she whispered. "It sounded like music." Milo's tail curled gently. For the first time, he felt like his silence had a shape, and it was beginning to sing. The next few nights, Milo returned to the same spot beneath the glowing window. Sometimes the girl played music, and Milo just listened. Other times, she didn't play at all, and Milo hummed softly into the stillness. Little by little, his hum grew steadier. It never became a meow, but that didn't matter anymore. One evening, the girl opened the window with a big smile. "I wrote a song for you," she whispered. "It doesn't have any words, just feelings." She held up her little wooden instrument and began to play. The tune danced like butterflies in spring. It swirled around Milo's ears, brushing his fur with every note. And without thinking, Milo hummed along. Not loud, not perfect, but real. The music and Milo's voice blended into something new. A song made of strings and whispers, of heartbeats and hope. People walking by paused. They looked around for the singer, but saw only a quiet kitten and an open window. A shopkeeper said, "I don't know where that sound comes from, but it makes me feel like I remember something beautiful." Milo closed his eyes. He didn't need to be heard by everyone. Just one person was enough. And tonight, she was listening with her heart wide open. That night, after the song without words, Milo couldn't sleep. Not because he was afraid, not because he was sad, but because something inside him felt so full, it wouldn't stay quiet. He lay under the bakery window, paws tucked beneath his chest, eyes wide open to the stars. He tried to hum, but no sound came. Instead, the feeling turned into pictures in his head. He imagined his humming floating like light across rooftops, wrapping around chimneys, and curling into dreams. He pictured the girl asleep, her hands still curled gently like she was still playing. He imagined the villagers smiling in their sleep, not knowing why. Then, something moved beside him. It was a shadow. A long tail. Glowing eyes. Another cat. An old cat. "Couldn't sleep," the old cat whispered. Milo shook his head softly. "I heard your voice earlier," the old cat said. "It's been a long time since I've heard something that honest." Milo blinked. "But I didn't meow." The old cat chuckled. "Neither do the trees when they dance. Neither does the moon when it pulls the tides. Real voices don't need to be loud, little one." Milo felt a quiet warmth in his chest. And for the first time, he knew that silence could speak. A few days later, the village prepared for its yearly festival of lights. Everyone was busy tying lanterns, baking sweet breads, and stringing glowing ribbons across the rooftops. Even the cats got little bells for their collars. Except Milo, he had no collar. And no bell. But he didn't mind. He had something else now. When night came, the streets lit up with warm colors. Children danced in circles. Elders clapped to the beat of gentle drums. And in the center square, a small stage was set for music. Milo sat by the edge of the crowd, tail tucked, ears perked. The girl was on the stage, holding her wooden instrument. She glanced around, searching. Then her eyes met Milo's. She smiled and motioned to him. Milo froze. A few people turned to look. A cat on stage, someone laughed. But the girl simply said, "Here's the reason this song exists." She began to play. And Milo, quietly, slowly, walked to her side. He closed his eyes. And he hummed. A soft, steady hum that drifted up like lanterns into the sky. No words. No meows. Just truth. And the whole square, without even meaning to, fell quiet to listen. The bell in the window. The morning after the festival, everything was quiet again. Lanterns still swayed gently from rooftops, and crumbs from sweet bread dotted the cobblestones. Milo wandered the village with light steps. Everyone smiled at him now. Some waved, some gave him a wink. They didn't ask him to speak. They just understood. When he reached the bakery, the window was open. The girl was gone, but something new hung on the sill. A small collar with a tiny silver bell. It sparkled in the sun, waiting patiently. Milo blinked. He looked around. No one came out. No one said a word. He stepped closer, sniffed the ribbon. It smelled like flour and music. Then, from behind the curtain, the girl peeked out with a shy smile. "I thought maybe you'd want to wear something that makes its own kind of sound," she said softly. Milo sat still for a moment. Then, he leaned forward and let her fasten the collar around his neck. The bell didn't ring like others. It shimmered softly, like chimes in the wind. Like humming. Milo purred, not loud, not sharp, just warm. The girl whispered, "You never had to meow, you know. You've always had a voice." And Milo finally believed her. From that day on, Milo was never just the kitten who couldn't meow. He was the kitten with the soft silver bell. The hum in the window. The song without words. Some days, he still sat alone beneath the stars. Not because he felt small, but because he liked to listen. To the wind brushing the rooftops. To the river whispering nearby. To the world's quiet music. And whenever someone felt unheard or unseen, they would sit beside him, without needing to speak. And Milo would hum, soft and sure, not to fix things, not to impress, just to be present. The girl still played her music too, sometimes for crowds, sometimes only for Milo. And even when she grew older, and the street changed, and the bakery was painted a different color, the bell in the window always stayed. A small reminder that sometimes, the quietest song is the one we carry inside us. And the bravest thing we can do, is let it be heard.